Why did IT trainee love PowerShell? Because with just one command, they felt like a hacker. Hello guys! We are back in 2002. A few months ago, new operating system created by Microsoft was released. It was Windows XP, a very cool operating system with a smooth and visually impressive appearance for its time. To feel the spirit of that time, let's look at the Windows TV commercial from 2001. Okay, everything looks great there. Fun and unlimited possibilities. Is that so? How it looked like from a perspective of IT guys or any other person who was creating scripts those times? So the possibilities were limited and you had only a couple not quite efficient options to use. The first one are batch files, which contains a bunch of commands executed by the command line's interpreter. It often does his job, especially for any ad hoc tasks, but the possibilities to build something more complex were limited. The second option was JScript, what is an Microsoft implementation of commonly used JavaScript. Another option was WMI, Windows Management Instrumentation, what is a set of extensions on Windows operating system that allows to manage and configure of the system components. Using WMI we can configure a lot, but still we are not able to create more complex solution. And the last one, and the most popular option, was VBScript. VBScript is a scripting edition of classical Visual Basic Programming language. However, scripting in VBScript was very painful due to its syntax and the fact that it had a very poor debugging system. The errors and messages were not quite accurate, and you were literally wasting your time checking the code line by line to find out why your program is not working fine. Annoying, isn't it? As a person who worked with VBScript a couple of years, I have this memory associated in my mind when it comes to this scripting language. That's why, in early 2000s, Microsoft started working on a new language that could be more intuitive and powerful, where the code could be created faster and more smoothly. Do you know what scripting language am I talking about? Yes, you are thinking right. We are talking, of course, about PowerShell. First version of PowerShell was released in 2006, but the initial project was developing from 2001 and it was primarily called as Nomad. Comparing PowerShell to other scripting languages, this one is quite unique because it contains two main features. The first one is a shell command line. Yes, you are right, this black window when we type commands to create new file or set any system configuration. The second ability is a power of scripting language. PowerShell is a fully fledged scripting language. You can write scripts, program and even software with graphical interface. So there is plenty of possibilities here. So we have something like two-in-one product. Isn't that great? At the very beginning, PowerShell was strictly dependent on Windows ecosystem, so it was operating only on Windows. This situation has been changed in 2016 when PowerShell evolved into a cross-platform open source solution, and you can use it right now on macOS and Linux as well. What is making PowerShell more powerful is the fact that it's working on .NET environment. What's .NET environment, you might ask? So, .NET environment is a programming environment built by Microsoft that supports also other languages like C# or Visual Basic .NET. .NET environment includes a lot of useful libraries and functionalities that we can also implement and use in our daily work. Okay, now we have some useful information about PowerShell, so let's go into the main topic of this video where I'll present you 7 main interesting functionalities PowerShell can give you. Are you ready? Let's go. The first functionality, and I think the most important one, are the commandlets. But what exactly are commandlets? Commandlets are simple commands that you can use in PowerShell that does some specified action and return the result of this action for you. You can think about it as a little program with some code inside that is doing some job for you. Thanks to this, you can create your code faster and achieve your goal in a more efficient way. Commandlets have very intuitive names and are always built with verb, $, and noun. Verbs represent the action and noun is always the object to operate on. For example, let's look at the most popular commandlets that exist in PowerShell. We have, for example, new item when we want to create a new object like file or folder. We have get item when we want to get an information about an object. We have also set location when we want to set the current location path for our script. Or remove item in case when we want to delete a file or a folder. As you can see, we have some key verb list in commandlets like get, set, remove, new, etc. We will focus on them in our next video, diving a little deeper into commandlets topic. So as you can see, commandlets are very useful, so I think it will be very interesting for you and it will let you to build your first script very easily. The next functionality are pipelines. Pipelines are a great solution to pass objects or results between commands, allowing for complex operations to be performed with a minimal amount of the code. Let's imagine a pipeline as a big pipe when data generated by the previous action are transferred to the next action where we can use it. For example, in a bakery, one person is making the bread dough, and once the dough is ready, he passes it to another person who is responsible for putting it to the oven to bake it. So in the real life case, the work done by the first person was passed to the second person who could use the result of that work, which is a bread dough prepared earlier used for the next step of the process, which is a baking process. And we have a similar case in PowerShell when we pass the result of the first command and use it in the second one in the same action. For example, we want to get the list of the files and then sort it by the last write time. But how can we do this using only one line? For this task, we will use two commandlets, getChildItem and sortObject. So let's see how it will look in practice. At the very beginning, I'll just write the first commandlet, getChildItem. I'll specify the path to the folder from where I want to get the list of the files and let's run it. As you can see, we've got here the data with the list of files with some details like name, size, etc. So the first step is ready. Now let's use and pass this data to another commandlet that we will create right now. To do this, we are just typing pipe sign, what means that we want to use the data got in the getChildItem commandlet and pass it to the second part. And then we are adding sort object, specifying the property we want to order our file. We are running the code, and here you go. We have a file list sorted by the last write time. It was a piece of cake, wasn't it? To sum it up, as a result, we can create so-called one-liners that it can do multiple things for us. Now, let's talk about functionality number 3, object-oriented approach. Object and classes are a super crucial part of majority programming languages. So what is class and object then? Simply speaking, the class is a definition of the object. Object is a more complex structure of data that can contain multiple attributes, properties, and methods inside. Okay, but it is still difficult to understand, isn't it? To help you understand it better, let's bring up a situation from the real life then. Let's imagine a class as a cake recipe. The recipe tells you what ingredients to use, like flour, sugar, or eggs. In this recipe, you have also step-by-step instruction how it should be done. For example, add 200 grams of flour, add 3 eggs and mix it, etc. So, class can be simply compared to a recipe. It tells how to create or prepare something. Knock knock, are you following me? Yes? Okay, let's go on then. Each cake you bake from the same recipe can be considered as an object created from the class, right? Now, just like a real cake has specifications, flavor, size, or frosting, and actions you can do with it, like slice or serve, an object has also the same specifications, like flavor, size, and frosting. And of course, the same methods. So in programming, a class can be compared to the recipe and the object can be compared to the actual cake made using that recipe. Let's see right now how it's working in practice. I'm creating here one class and then I'm creating new objects. As a result, I'm getting the list of cakes with all the information about them, like weight and size. And this is a great solution when you want to build the code efficiently. For now, that's enough you need to know and understand. We will talk about classes in a separate video dedicated only for this topic. The fourth function is extensibility. As was mentioned at the beginning of this video, PowerShell is working dependently on .NET platform. That gives you a huge amount of possibilities to extend your code by variety of .NET libraries, or even we can create a code snippets in other languages like C# and use it in PowerShell script. Additionally, we can import ready modules with ready solutions and create our own modules to extend the possibility of our program. The next functionality are scripting language features. Of course, PowerShell also can offer you all the necessary features that you can find in other programming languages like variables and data types, control structures like if-else or loops, functions and modules, and a really great error handling and debugging tools. Now let's go about the next point, interactivity and immediate feedback. So, speaking about error handling and debugging the code, we should not forget about the interactive shell that will return the result of your program or script instantly. The script code is run immediately, and you are getting the output in the console with information if the code was run successfully or not. If it was not run successfully, you are getting very clear information what part of your code is not working as expected and why. Getting the result of the code immediately, without the need of compiling it first to the binary code, can accelerate the learning process. And the last topic I wanted to bring up is the fact that beginning from 2016, PowerShell was changed into an open source project that is also working on non-Windows platforms like Linux or Mac OS, what means that you can use it practically on each computer. That was a really big milestone for PowerShell and the whole .NET platform as well, because from this time the Microsoft technology stack was not fully dependent on their ecosystem anymore and became a more universal solution. Okay guys, so we've gone through all 7 PowerShell functionalities, so let's do a short summary and let's answer the question why PowerShell can be a good choice for start when it comes to scripting or programming adventure. That will be a good summary for today's topic. So, in PowerShell we have intuitive syntax using commandlets, immediate feedback, and good error handling. Thanks to this, we have a gradual learning curve because we can create some basic script pretty fast. And thanks to this, you will see your practical achievements and it's a good motivation for practicing more and more. What's very important is the fact that you can use PowerShell for real-life tasks in your work. For example, you can automate some repeatable and boring stuff. And of course, do some more interesting and creative tasks. And on the top of that, PowerShell includes practically all main features that other programming languages have. Object-oriented concept of PowerShell can be easily applied to other programming languages. Also, experience with scripting and automation in PowerShell is a valuable skill in many IT roles. Okay guys, that's all for today. If you like this video and you want to support me, please click a like button or subscribe my video channel. Thank you and see ya!